Okay, I think we'll start. So today we are going to talk about treasure at Tampines because I received quite a few requests to talk about treasure at Tampines lah. So I thought why not? Uh, but for today's analysis, we will be looking more onto the macro perspective because I think price and finishings, to me, I don't like to talk about finishings, all this, because all these can be changed by tens of thousands of dollars, which comparatively in real estate terms are what we call small money lah. So I'm not really focused on how the developers finishing all these are. I'm more interested in the macro factors because those are the ones that will determine whether a property is going to make 6 digits or 5 digits. Okay. Anyway, let's proceed. So this is a treasure at Tampines. As we know, Singapore is trying to decentralize from the CBD area. Therefore, you can see all these areas of development that the government is trying to push towards so that we is not too reliant on CBD. And then nowadays, it fits the COVID trend where everyone is trying to work from home. And therefore also in the eastern area there's a lot of transformation which I'm not talk about because those of you who are requesting for this probably you already heard from your agents or whoever it is that there's going to be transformation blah blah blah, so I'm not going to talk about that. And before we begin also, disclaimer, all this whatever that I mentioned here today is all based on my opinion. It doesn't represent the agency that I'm from, and it's just based on my own analysis. So yep. So it's not representative by any other person other than myself. Okay, let's move forward. This is the locality of treasure at Tampines. As you can see here, we have a few condominiums. Let's just see. Let me just take. Okay, we have treasure at Tampines 1, and then we have 2 East Point Green, 3 My Manhattan, 4 Medina, 5 Tropical Spring, Double Bay Residences. Okay, if I'm not wrong, there's also a Simei Green, but Simei Green is outside of 1 km radius. So for me, my analysis, I like to talk about 1 km radius because that is where it truly matters. If a person really wants to stay in a certain locality, they will generally want to look at a place that is within 1 km radius. All right. But of course, later my analysis I will also factor in Simei Green lah. I mean, since it's still quite nearby. So if you have chanced upon my PRA analysis, you would have realized that I focus a lot on the supply factors of an area. So this is treasure at Tampines. As you can see, the shape is a little bit more like what do you call this shape? Oh no, the math teacher needs to correct me. I think this is what we call trapezium, right? Okay. So this is generally the shape of treasure at Tampines. You can see a little bit like a trapezium. And it is actually the largest condominium in Singapore at 2,203 units, largest in the entire Singapore in a single estate. Okay, so it is interesting to see how it will perform because naturally there are a lot of concerns. I have people talking to me about competition. They say, "Wow, if I'm going to buy here, then next time I want to sell how?" So it really depends on what is your what are your needs lah. If you're looking for comfortable, sizable area, then this to stay for your own, I think this is a very nice place to stay for sure, because the quantum is comparatively lower if you're talking about new condominiums in Singapore. But if you're looking to buy a 1-2 bedder and then you are looking to sell, then of course your price entry, okay lah, it has to be a little bit more competitive lah. If you are buying and maybe you see some of the units are selling at 1,006 plus PSF, then I wouldn't say that would be very ideal at this point. Okay, then of course there are a few other condominiums over here, and let's take a look. I already zoom into all this, so we can see all the other condos in the vicinity. You have Modena at 230 units, My Manhattan 301 units, Tropical Spring 242, Double Bay Residences, Sunbird View, Simei Green. So, and then if I'm not wrong, also including East Point Green. And all these add up together, we have a plus Treasure at Tampines, 2,000 plus in one shot. We have a total of 4,000 plus units. And if you remember PR8 analysis that we did was about 1 week plus back, we PR8 we have okay, let's just have a quick look. PR8 we have 6,383 units including PR8 in the area. So if we're talking about an area cluttered with supply, I seriously don't think Treasure is in as bad situation as PR8. Far from it. In fact, it's only about 2/3 of the way there. Okay, so imagine before Treasure at Tampines, you minus 2,203 units. That gives us only about barely 2,000 units, 2,236 units last time for this entire area near Simei MRT. And in case you haven't realized, this is still quite walkable distance. I walked before. You just cut through from the side gate and then walk across, cut through like this. It only takes you about 7 to 8 minutes. So I will still say it is a walkable distance. Okay. Anyway, I'm not saying Treasure is good or bad now. I'm just saying what I experienced over there. So I'm not saying that it's a good buy yet at this point. So far, supply factor is still kind of past the test. It's not as bad like I mentioned previously. The PRA area and also the Tampines West area. Okay. Anyway, this is the area that we're talking about near Coco Palms, near the PRA site. Okay, so there are 6,383 units, and these are the performance. So like I mentioned previously, just a quick round for those of our friends who have not attended or watched through the PRA analysis. There are people who say that Coco Palms made a lot of money, and therefore, as long as you are new, you can consider buying. Then again, I need to mention that Coco Palms bought in at a price that is cheaper than resale. And then, of course, if you are buying in at a price that is cheaper than resale, then I don't see why your new one is not going to rise above the rest, which is what Coco Palms did. But imagine if your PR8 buys at this one is 1,000, 3,000, blah blah blah. So let's say 1,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6. PR8 is entering average. Let's not talk about the 2,000 guy, 2,000, 2116 PSF guy. That one is a hero. Okay, everyone will admire him. So this is where PR8 enters. So you can see there's quite a huge gap above the Coco Palms. Okay, okay, now mind. This is here, right? Coco Palms is here, my bad. Okay, because this is where currently Coco Palms is. Why do I use Coco Palms? Because it is the newest competitor. In fact, I was just driving past Dines the past few days, and then I realized Dines actually across the expressway looks really quite nice. So I don't see why it won't be a serious competitor towards PR8, given that it's just crossing one route across, and then you have to pay like a 600 PSM more. Okay, but okay, let's continue first. Today we add in a little bit more okay, because every session I try add in a little bit something that is a little bit newer that I haven't talked about previously. And now we zoom into Queenstown MRT, where the Sterling Residences is. I'm sure those of you who have been looking at new condos would have realized that Sterling would have been a little bit of an interest to you. Obviously, now the price is a little bit on the high side. So anyway, let's just talk about the supply in the area. Okay, let's take a look. This area we have a total of also 8 condominiums. I think this is similar to the Tampines West. As you can see, I have ranked this according to the, I think, age of the property in the vicinity, or within 1 km radius from Queenstown MRT. So the first one will be Anchorage, and then Queens, followed by Alexis, followed by Commonwealth Towers, Queen's Peak, Sterling Residences, and also Margaret View. I think if I'm not wrong, actually Margaret View is going to TOP earlier than Sterling Residences. But anyway, they are just very close to each other in terms of TOP. So just pardon me on the numbering. And then the last one will be Queenstown, Queensway MRT, but that one not really a lot of units. In fact, it's only double-digit number of units. Later I will show you. I can't remember that well. Later the analysis, I wouldn't put these two in because they are two freehold. I'm trying to compare apple to apple lah. So I put leasehold. Anyway, doesn't mean freehold. It will go up. For your information, Alexis didn't do well. Okay, for a variety of factors which I shall not mention today. If not, we cannot finish today. Okay, let's look at the supply in the area. We have Queens. Queens itself is already quite a large condo. We have 722 units, and we have Queens Peak at 736 units, Commonwealth Towers 845 units, Sterling Residences a whopping 1259 units. Huge condo. And then you have Margaret View that is a little bit further away at 309 units. Okay, for those people who are very concerned about mega development, later I'll show you some of the price performance. Then also Anchorage 775 units, followed by Queensway Tower at 78 units. Total number of private units that gives us 5017 in total. Okay, so then again, compared to PR8, we have 6383 units. We are 1,000 here. We have 1,300 plus units lesser than PR8. So in terms of supply factor, I wouldn't be as concerned here as compared to Pasir Ris. Then let's take a look at the pricing performance. Okay, a lot of agents will say that, hey, you buy new, you can make money, but that's not always the case. Okay, remember Tampines West, we should talk about in PRE later. I'll have a quick revision on that also. Let's take a look here. Yes, Commonwealth Towers compared to Queens, there were quite a big price gap, but because they were Commonwealth Towers, let's take a look. ETOP 2017, Queens TOP 2002. So there's a 15-year age gap. Okay, when you have a 15-year age gap and then you give me a difference of maybe a 400 PSF, I'm okay with it. I feel that if I'm a buyer and I want something that is newer, I don't see why I'm not okay with paying 400 PSF for something that is 15 years younger and newer. Because if I'm buying into a condo for a lifestyle, and then I will naturally want to enjoy facilities that are newer, correct? In fact, now I just sold my place. I'm going to probably try to find a place to rent or something, and then I'll be looking around and then I realize anything that is more than 5 to 10 years, actually I may not be very keen, because if you look at the condition of the facilities, not many are very well maintained. Okay, so back to this. And then let's take a look at this. When Commonwealth Towers it was launched, okay, it was quite a bit above. So this was a 15-year age gap, which I'm okay with paying 400 PSF. But then again, Queen's Peak made money, yes, because you can see, but why? Because when it first launched, it was below resale price. It was below, not say resale. At this point, Commonwealth Towers wasn't completed yet, so I wouldn't call it resale. But it was cheaper than something that is older than it. The new one cheaper than old one. It's like buying a new car versus an old one. Which one will you buy? Of course, I think most people will buy the new one, right? Okay, so I think it's what do you call it? I think it's a no-brainer that you will choose Queen's Peak at this point. Okay, and then after that, Margaret View also launched about the same price. Okay lah, justifiable entry price lah. But then there is another factor which I shall not mention today that kind of I suggest leads to the poor performance of Margaret View. Okay, you can see it's pretty much flat. This is just an outlier, so I'm not going to look at it. Then the next one will be Sterling Residences. So by then, Commonwealth Towers TOP around this period, 2017, right? I think probably here because you have a TOP effect where you have a sudden big price jump. And Sterling Residences launch below Margaret View, below what do you call it? Commonwealth Towers. Sterling residences. So it is also a no-brainer for Sterling residences for you to go into Sterling at this point. But here now, not so sure lah. If you are entering here, then I think this is a very dangerous point lah, because given the price gap here is almost 2004, here is 1004 for 15 year and not a 15 year. I think how many? This one is 2018 launch. So maybe about this one TOP 2022. So maybe 20 years apart. But then I have to pay 1000 PS. I don't think it's justifiable. So I seriously don't think at this point Sterling is worth entering. Okay, if you are looking from an investment point of view. But of course, if you really like the area and you want to stay there for long, you're not going to move, then by all means go ahead lah. Okay, so why am I bringing up this now? Because I'm trying to justify why Sterling residences at that point was a good buy. Okay, I think beyond this price is a good buy, but above that is a little bit more towards the risk, because these two guys, Commonwealth and Queensbridge, they are not that much older than you. Okay, same goes for Margaret View. They are so not much older than you. So why would you enter here and then wait for the buyer to pay this price above your competitors? Okay. So quick revision again for Tampines West. You can see total units 5,000 plus is already. I think 5,000 plus is reaching a saturation point. So if there's a new condo coming out in this area, I wouldn't be as confident for Queenstown area. Okay, that's what I have to say. And now you can see saturation points is already reached at 5,000 plus. Okay, why? Because we have done quite a bit of research to tell you around this is the number of units to start avoiding getting into something new in the area lah. Okay, if you want more, then just drop me a text and I'll explain to you. Anyway, back to this. This is Tampines West. As you can see, Tapestry entered is the newest guy on the block. Except for Park Central, which is EC, so let's not talk about it yet, because EC is a totally different market. Tapestry didn't climb like what do you call it? Sterling residences. You realize because of all these macro factors. Because before Sterling entered with 1259 units. So 1259 units you have to minus from this. That means Sterling entered when the supply in the area was 3,800. Around 3,800 units, which is okay, ma. But Tapestry entered around, let's say, also around there 4,000 plus. But the thing is, this one 800 plus units. Then you realize here stagnate. It didn't really do well. And then for those of you who watch PRA, you realize that almost very, very, very little of them actually made any money for Tapestry. And therefore, if your neighbors are all very young, it is very hard for you if you have a price gap of more than, I think in this case, about 200 to 300 PSF. Okay, and then now we may be thinking, hey, what are we talking about all this? Come on, we are talking about treasure now. Then now we move back into treasure. Okay, compared to all these, these are your competitor, because we will be thinking, hey, all these are near MRT. There, why should I buy treasure? But these guys, remember, the nearest competitor, if I'm not wrong, is my Manhattan, which TOP in 2014. Okay, let's take a look. Here, I bet. Okay, may look a little bit dizzy. My Manhattan, yes, correct. TOP 2014. Okay, for those of you who cannot see, 2014. So if treasure at Tampines is going to TOP in 2023, that means you have a 9-year age gap between you and the nearest competitor. And given that 9-year age gap, let's take a look at the entry price when treasure was first launched. Okay, it was launched here. If there's a 9-year age gap, but the age gap here was only how much? Less than, I think, 20-30 PSF. I think it's a steal. I mean, given I have to walk a little bit further for the MRT but if I'm going to walk like 3-4 minutes extra to the MRT for 30 to 40 PSF more, and is way younger, I'll be like, hey, take my money, just take. Then as you can see, so fundamentally, treasure was sound, because when treasure entered the scene, we entered in 2002, 203 units, but total supply in the area is about how much. Let's see again. Sorry, I got short-term memory. Let's see. 4239. So let's say when Treasure entered at 4239. After Treasure entered, there was 4239. Wait, 4239, and then you minus 2203 ma, and then that will give you only about 2000 ma, 2000 this amount of supply in the entire CMA area. So it only makes sense for Treasure to run, and that's why you can see Treasure went up. Okay, whether it's worth it to buy at this point, it really depends. Okay, it really depends because not all units are selling at this price. Your agent should be able to advise you very clearly what are the units to avoid, and then what are the units that you can consider. And if they are all saying that it's all good, then I think maybe it's time you go and change to an agent that is more fundamentally sound lah. Or I think I seriously think every condominium in Singapore, it has its good and bad lah. But if an agent only says about good things, then I think it may be somebody you shouldn't be relying too much on lah. I mean, I can say Treasure at Tampines, yes, like I mentioned, people are more concerned about the large number of supply in a single condo, which is not wrong. It's just that to me, I feel that if you are going to compete internally, at least you push each other's PSF inside. Okay, unless you are forced to sell, then too bad. But as long as your finances are doing fine, and then you can afford to have the holding power, I don't see why there is a need for you to have a fire sale. At most, you just hold a little bit longer, wait for the competition to exit the market, and then you can re-enter back into the market to sell your unit. As for the potential wise for Treasure at Tampines, let's take a look. Okay, master plan. I think quite standard in the area. They are all about 2.8. This looks like 2.5, but then I checked already. This is Treasure at Tampines. Treasure at Tampines ma, so 2.8 ma. So the same goes for the rest. They are all pretty much the same, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8, blah blah blah. And then all these are undeveloped areas. So you can see it seems that government is very interested to pump in quite a lot of money in this area of Tampines. You realize a lot of them are empty lands now, and government has already put in plans to develop, and then hopefully have quite a lot bit of development there. If not, why would they put in an MRT over here? Okay, as you can see already, all these are zone residential, and then this is a mixed development. That means it has a commercial and residential element. I'm not sure exactly what will they be doing. And let's see. August 2021, there's already a BTO announced here and here. The other one will be BTO November 2020. So that means these 3 big plots of land has been taken up, which frees us for this part and this part and this part. If I'm not wrong, this is already taken by HDB. So there may be a chance that these 3 are still private developments. Okay, especially this one. This is going to be mixed. If this is going to be mixed, then the PSF in this area is not going to be cheap at all. Okay, given the recent land bid price of Lentor Central. And definitely this is, I think I wouldn't be surprised actually if this actually hits 2000 PSF break even. And if this really hits 2000 PSF break even, this will bring up the potential of this, which is Treasure at Tampines. And if this also goes as a land bid, all these 3 will help to bring up here, because they are not going to be selling at 1,005 for sure. They are not going to be selling at 1,006 for sure. They'll be selling minimum 1,008, 1,009 above, which comparatively is, if Treasure is going to be at least, is only about 4 to 5 years younger than them, then again, I don't see why Treasure at Tampines won't be a destination for future resale buyers. If they are only looking for something, they are looking for something that is 300 to 400 PSF, or even up to, I would say maybe even 500 to 700 PSF difference, given they sell at next time 1,000, let's say 900 PSF. And Treasure, there are people who enter as low as about 1,000, 3,002 to 1,003 PSF. Okay, that will give us a difference of 600 PSF. Okay, you see that? So in this sense, Treasure at Tampines is pretty decent in terms of potential, I feel personally. Maybe because I have no idea what this is going to be. If you have any idea, then just let me know lah. Okay. So far I didn't manage to find out lah. I only found out these three. Whether is it a good deal now? As you can see at this point, I just extracted this today, which is on today. What's the day again? Today is 6 August. 6th of August. Okay, it is sold 93%. And whether these few are available and at a good price, that one I not so sensitive to share here lah. Okay, so I shall not share here. But of course, if you are looking to enter at the same day as launch price, then I think unlikely. But different units have different amount of price being staged up. There are some already selling at 1,600 plus, which I feel not a very decent buy lah. But then again, judging from performance of PR8, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody snaps it out at 1,600, 1,700 in the very, very near future. Okay. So ultimately, whether good deal or not, your agent should be able to advise you. Like I mentioned, if you feel that everything is whatever they say is all positive and no negative, then like I mentioned, maybe it's time for you to start looking elsewhere for somebody that is more reliable in terms of your being your advisor. Okay, I think that's pretty much what we have today for Treasure at Tampines. Thanks to those of you who have PM me and they asked me about my views here and there, and then I hope I'll be able to share my views with you. And then yes, I'm glad I managed to help some of you who managed to make a decision in the past few days. And then I think that's it for today. So any other things, you can just drop me a text. If not, then thank you and see you. Bye bye.